Welcome to Pacific Northwest Outdoors. My name's Chris, and this is my greenhouse. I really love this greenhouse. There's a lot of greenhouses like it, but this one is mine. It's one of my favorite things about this property, and unfortunately though, it's more of a storage shed right now. It doesn't really work as well as I want it to as a functional greenhouse. The greenhouse effect isn't sufficient to keep it above freezing when the temperature drops below freezing. It just doesn't let enough sun in, and it lets too much cold air in as well. So what I really need to do is just beef this greenhouse up as much as I possibly can. So this will be a multi-part, multi-stage project, but the first thing I need to do is, number one, clean up all of the limbs that are hanging above this greenhouse so that I can get some more sun into it. And then number two, I want to switch the sides of the greenhouse. So this side over here is the west side of the greenhouse, and this side over here is the east side of the greenhouse. This is where all the sun comes from over here. But it's got greenhouse panels top to bottom on the west side, so all the sun just goes right out and it doesn't insulate at all. Whereas this only has greenhouse panels on the top half, and then it has wood on the bottom half, so it's only getting about half as much sunlight as it should from where the sun's coming in, and then it's losing all that light on the other side, as well as, you know, allowing more cold air and cold temperature, cold weather to come in. So that's the first thing, and I think one of the most major things that I'm going to do as part of this series. And let's get started. Alright, so step one is going to be take down some of these limbs, get some more sunlight heading into the greenhouse. So I'll probably take down these ones here, and then probably a few of these here, and hopefully the limbs falling down don't actually damage the greenhouse. Once that's done, I'm also going to do what I can to sweep all of the pine needles off the top of the greenhouse there, because that's not helping with light either. So do what I can to just get rid of as much of this foliage as possible, so that more light comes in, less pine needles fall on the roof, and that's the first step. So far so good, much better. Got it cleared up off the top of there. Next step is to get all those pine needles off the top and then clean up all this debris. It's always the problem out here, there's too much debris. Get to it. Okay, so part one complete. I've got the branches cleared off the top here. I cleaned off the roof a little bit just to let more sunlight in. And now for the part that I'm not looking forward to, switching the sides. So I'm going to start with this side, take it off completely, take off this side completely, and hopefully I don't get caught out in the rain while I'm doing it. So I'll give you a closer look at what I'm doing. Okay, so here's the side that's greenhouse windows top to bottom, and I want this on the sunny side so that I get even more sunlight in. Taking this side off shouldn't be a big deal. It's just held in with a ton of these little bolts here. So I just need to take it off, save the bolts, and that should be pretty easy. Let's look at the other side. Okay, so here's the other side. We've only got the windows and the bolts halfway down, and then we've got wood down below. So I'm going to take off all of this, and I think I even have to take off these pieces in the middle here, because I think that's sort of holding up the wood. And that's really the part that I'm concerned about, is how I'm going to get all of that off without damaging it so that I can put it on the other side. Also, if you notice, it goes all the way to the bottom, and I don't think I have that same footing on the other side. So, you know, in doing this, you also want to make sure it looks good, and this is the side that everyone sees. So we'll just dive in, and if we have to improvise, we'll improvise. Alright, so the first snag I've hit is, if you look up here, see if I can see that, some of these screws are behind this piece of wood. So that's going to have to come off, and I will try to get it off very carefully. I think it's just screwed in there, but it's very old, so hopefully I can get this piece of wood off without damaging it. Alright, so first side is off. That was a little bit more difficult than I expected it to be, but mostly because of these end caps on here. Getting those off was kind of a pain, so that concerns me about the other side, but this side's off now, so we just got to keep moving. Alright, so hit a snag on this side, unfortunately. You can see here, all of this is dry rotted out. Up in there, all through there. The boards that were on the sides and on the bottoms pretty much just fell apart. So I'm gonna have to replace it. Now in the back, when I was gonna move these to the back, I was gonna not use these plastic panels here. I was gonna get more plywood and, you know, replace these plastic parts with the plywood, so have, you know, two halves. So what I think I'm gonna have to do now is actually go out and get full, like, you know, whatever that is, 7-foot tall plywood pieces, 3 of them for the back, because these are gonna have to be replaced. That is no good. So now I just have to rip them off. Unfortunately, considering that it's Sunday today, none of the local hardware stores are open. So that means this is going to have to wait. I'll probably put these and the plastic on the back just in a temporary fashion, just so that everything's held together until I get back. I'm actually going to Texas for a week, so I unfortunately won't be able to continue this until I get back. So now I'm just going to finish ripping off the sides, put on this side with the full plastic top to bottom, and then put these pieces on the back temporarily just to keep everything contained, and then I'm gonna have to deal with it some more in part 2. There we have it. Both sides completely off. That was a lot harder work than I expected it to be. So this is not a very effective greenhouse at the moment. Now we gotta start putting it back together. So mission accomplished. Now we have the sunny side of the greenhouse, all windows top to bottom. That's exactly what I wanted. Hopefully that'll keep it nice and toasty inside there. I was even able to salvage these end pieces here
So the front, other than maybe a little bit of touch-up paint or something, is completely done. The other thing that I wanted to do was figure out a way to put in these foam pieces that sort of come up in here, and they're shaped to this plastic and they insulate, because you can see that my finger, it goes all the way through. Well, not my finger, but the air goes all the way through, so it's not really sealed. So I got to figure out a way to seal these. I know they make foam pieces for these type of plastic siding, but the ones that I bought didn't fit. They were too sort of shallow between these ridges here. So unfortunately, I got to take all those back to Home Depot and see if I can find ones that actually fit. I might have to special order them online or something, but I need to do all along the bottom and then all along up here. But as a matter of fact, if you even look, you can kind of see it's wide open, so even the foam pieces aren't really going to help for up here. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do there. I got to figure that one out too. Maybe some of the that gap filling you know, foam stuff might work or something. So here's the back. It's a lot uglier than the front because it's only temporary. I just put in 3 screws, 1, 2, and then 1 in the center to hold it in place for all 3 of these back panels, and then I only put in half of the amount of screws on the plastic panels, and then I didn't even bother with the edge caps. I mean, air can obviously get right in there, but I don't really have anything in the greenhouse right now that I need to protect anyways. And even if I did, so much air gets in, it doesn't really even matter. So the edge pieces back here are trash, and I need to get plywood to cover all the way down here, all the way up to here. So this is going to be all plywood when I'm done with it, and then I'll paint it up and make it look nice, and I'll create some new side caps here out of just regular cedar or something. And then it will start to come together. Hopefully with the plywood I can actually close up the gaps up here too, up in there. At least figure out something, maybe some silicone sealant. I don't know. If you have any ideas for how I can seal up those holes, let me know. I need to figure that out.
Alright, so that's going to close off part 1. Part 2 is going to be, again, getting plywood on the side here and just closing the whole thing up, plus sealing the entire thing and painting it, making it look nice, and then hopefully all of those changes will actually make it a greenhouse that stays maybe, you know, 15, 20 degrees warmer inside than it is outside. Right now it's only ever, you know, 0 to 10 degrees warmer, so it's just not that effective. And I'm not comfortable moving my plants out here until there is actually a really good greenhouse effect going on in here. So that was a lot of hard work, but I'm glad that it's done, and now it's just time to clean up and enjoy a frothy beverage. See you next time. Hey everybody, this has been Pacific Northwest Outdoors. My name's Chris, and if you liked the video you just saw, please click the like button. I would really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more videos, please click subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and cheers.